Assalamu alaikum. Today is the 23rd of September 2015 and it is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah 1436. Today is the day of Arafat, and I have been sharing my experience with certain surahs during this period, during the holy days, the holy 10 days from the 1st to the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. So today is the last share, and the one that I want to share today with you, my experience with one of the surahs, is Surah Ash Shams. It's Surah 91, and without much ado, let me just recite it to you, and then I'll talk about it a little and my experience with it. Once again, may Allah forgive me. I have read Quran in English. Arabic is not my language, so I might make mistakes, but may Allah forgive me for my shortcomings. Here goes, without much ado. It's Al Shams, it means the sun. So, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful and the especially merciful. Washamse waduhaha, by the sun and its brightness. Wal qamri iza talaha, and by the moon when it follows it. Wan nahari iza jallaha, and by the day when it displays it. Wal layli iza yakhshaha, and by the night when it conceals it. Was samai iwamai banaha, and by the sky and he who constructed it. Wal ardi wama tahaha, and by the earth and he who spread it. Wan nafsi wama sawaha, and by the soul and he who proportioned it. Fa alhamaha fujuraha wa taqwaha, and inspired it with discernment of its wickedness and its righteousness. وَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, he has succeeded who purifies it. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and he has failed who instills it with corruption. كَذَّبَتْ تَمُودُ بِالتَّقْوَاهَا, Thamud denied the Prophet by reason of their transgression. Izin ba'da ashqaha, when the most wretched of them was sent forth. فَقَالَ لَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ وَسُقْيَاهَا, and the messenger of Allah, Salihah, said to them, do not harm the she-camel and don't prevent her from the drink. فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَأَقَرُوهُ فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنْبِهِمْ فَسَوَّاهَا, but they denied him and hamstrung her, so the Lord brought down upon them destructions for their sins and made it equal upon them. وَلَا يَخَافُ عُقْبَاهَا, and he does not fear the consequence thereof. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. May Allah forgive me for the errors that I've made in Arabic. But now I will tell you why I love it. I love this surah. I love this surah because it is a surah in which Allah is taking oath. He's swearing by the blessings that He has given insan, all of us. It says, by the sun and its brightness. I love the sun. So the moment I say by the sun, it brightens me up. And its brightness. And of course, look, I'm here sitting in sunny California. It's sunny and it's bright. I'm from England, and so sun and brightness gets my attention immediately. And then it says, by the moon, and by the moon when it follows it. So then all of a sudden it takes me to the imagery of the moon, and it's following it. And therefore there's a system, the sun and the moon. And I'm realizing, okay, there's a sun on the moon, and it's following it. By the day when it displays it. Now there's a poetic element here. It's displaying, what is the sun? Sun is Allah's mercy. It's the biggest star that we see with the naked eye, around which the earth is revolving. So the day is displaying the sun. The day is displaying Allah's one of biggest ni'mah, the sun. So it's beautifully put. And by the night when it conceals it, again, there's a bit of poetry there that, you know, now you see it, now you don't. So you saw his mercies, the sun, and now you will not, till he allows you. When the day appears, you will see it. By the sky, and he who constructed it. The sky, I mean, I love the sky, the cloud, the sky, the skyline. In California, I can see the sky. And in England, we were busy, we were down where there's the skyline is not that beautiful. But in California, I see the sky. So my view is looking at the sky, and he who constructed it. And by he who constructed it. So all of a sudden, he was swearing by things that were I'm going to take this away, that were there, real. But now he says, swearing by someone who constructed it. So constructed it, that basically means, who could it be? It's Allah. So now it's taking you to, he's saying, I swear by myself. So swearing by himself. And then he goes on to say, let me sit somewhere, I want to share this somewhere. And then he goes on to say that, he says, and by the soul, as he perfected it. Now the moment he says by soul, so first he was swearing by his ne'mat, then he said he swears by who made it, that himself, and then he says he swears by the soul. The moment he says the word soul, it reminds us of the fact that we are just souls in our bodies, nothing more, nothing less. We are traveling through time. We are souls in this body. We get so wrapped up in this dunya and, you know, the body, that we are souls. We forget that we are souls. And that's why I love this part. It just reminds us that there's a soul. And then he says, and he who proportioned it. So all of a sudden we think, okay, I have a soul, and it's been proportioned. And so every human being that I see around me has a soul. And that just instills a element of self-worth. No matter where you wake up, what your condition is. You wake up in a body and you have a soul, and it's been proportioned by Allah. And so whoever you are now going to be talking to, these people that we're sharing the planet with, they have a soul. So there is mutual respect all of a sudden that comes to mind when the word soul comes to surface. And then it says that, and it inspired it with discernment of wickedness and righteousness. So again, here I was feeling very happy that I have a soul, but now I'm reminded that there is a wickedness and a righteousness. That means nafs al-ammara. We have this foolish self that will take us astray, but we have this righteous self that would keep us guarded. So again, you realize, okay, I am reliant. He has given me this mechanism. I can tell what is right, what is wrong. My soul will tell me. He's given me my GPS is there inside me. And then it goes on to say that he has succeeded who purifies it, and he has failed who instills it. So now I am reminded that, okay, I have a soul, it's a GPS, I have a system, but I have to nurture it. I will have to purify it. And I will be successful, I will meet success if I purify it. But I will be failed, I will be facing failure if I instill it with corruption, which means if I'm not checking myself. You know, when people say check yourself, that's what it means, check yourself. And it's applicable to everybody, women, men, child, grown-up, adults, Muslims, every nation. It is across the board. The moment you wake up with a soul, with discernment of right and wrong, and then you have to start veering it, guiding it. So it's a journey, navigating your soul, which comes to mind. And then it goes on to say, it tells us about a nation, a great nation that was destroyed because it did not obviously do right to its soul and denied what God had allowed, what God had wanted it to, and that's the nation of Thamud. The Thamud were the nation of Prophet Saleh, as we all know. If we don't, let me just share it with you. And I think that's how it was, which is that Prophet Saleh was a prophet of the nation called Thamud, and when he said there is one God, follow one God, they said, well, give us a proof. And they said the proof would be a she-camel, a pregnant she-camel, who would appear from that stone. And Allah in His mercies provided a she-camel who appeared from that stone, who was pregnant. So then the terms were that, okay, the she-camel will come down here and the people of Thamud will let it drink from that water that they drink. So one day they will drink from it, and the other day they will let the she-camel drink from it. But the people of Thamud, despite the fact that she had appeared as a proof that he was the prophet and there was one God and they must pray and worship one God, decided not to carry on with their covenant and killed it. So then this goes on to say that, so everything was all, they were told, were reminded that the people of Thamud were transgressors. They killed it. They did not follow their covenant, and therefore they were destroyed. And then it goes on to say that Allah does not fear consequence. And the word consequence conjures up, well, of course, there are no consequences for him, but there are consequences for us. The word consequence. So that means when you do right, there is consequence. When you do wrong, there is consequence. If you do not guard yourself and train yourself and check yourself, there will be consequence. Nafs ammara. There's a saying in our Urdu poetry, which is "Bade muzi ko mara, nafs ammara ko gar mara." That means you've killed a big enemy, you've defeated a big enemy. If you have defeated that nafs, that part, that soul, that part of the soul that takes you somewhere wrong. So we've got to we have the GPS, we have a nafs, we have a soul, but we've got to work with it. But that's my understanding, and that's what Surah Ash Shams does for me. And I hope this will encourage everybody to go to the surahs and learn from it, and Quran Hakim, the wise Quran, enjoy it and make it your own. And may Allah help us and guard us, and Eid Mubarak to everybody. Eid Mubarak to everybody. Thank you very much, and may God help us in the next Hijrah as well. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.